So with an aquarium, if you've got a really thick layer of fine sand, then what you need to be aware of is that hydrogen sulfide can build up in that sand. So mind you, if you get digging fish that dig in the sand a lot, that's going to make the situation better to stop the hydrogen sulfide forming. Because what happens is if the oxygen can't get into the sand, then you start forming bacteria at the bottom in anoxic zones, and that bacteria discharges hydrogen sulfide, which smells. And it's like a farty, eggy smell. And it's actually not good for you. So breathing it is definitely not a good idea. You can actually die from hydrogen sulfide, and many miners actually do die of hydrogen sulfide. So if you've got a situation like this, sucking some of the sand out would be a very good idea, because then if the sand is thinner, then it's less likely that it's going to go anoxic and therefore start to smell. And it mainly smells when you disturb it. If you leave it the way it is, the smell is not so bad. But getting geophagus or digging fish, the digging fish will tend to help as well. But if you've got a whole lot of rock work in there, the digging fish really sort of can't dig underneath the rock work. So if we thin out the sand, we reduce the chance of the smell. If we don't have too many rocks, if we kept this tank a little bit clear and put some nice big fake plants in, and we didn't have too much rock work, that will also reduce the chance of the smell. And any digging fish will help reduce the chance of the smell. And then if you do get a smell, either polyfilter or activated carbon will help to remove the smell. So this stuff here stops the smell from forming, and then the carbon or the polyfilter or just water changes is going to help reduce the smell. So what I'm doing with these filters is I'm taking out all of the fine filter mesh, and then I'm only putting the more coarse in, because I'm hoping that the coarse material should take longer until it clogs. Now, that means that the sediment is going to build up in the sand in the aquarium itself. So regular gravel cleans are important for getting rid of the fine sediment, because these filters won't necessarily get rid of the fine sediment, but biologically it should keep the water quite stable. Now, if we were going to set these filters up so you almost never need to service them, what we'd be doing is taking out all the media that's in the filters and putting in the large marine pure balls. And the large marine pure balls in this filter would mean that if it never got cleaned, the chances are they would still function biologically quite well. Now, this isn't strictly true, but as a generalization, if you were never to clean these filters, they would still probably be in quite a working order. Now, with a budget of $0, we're going to try to just do it with the coarse mats, because this isn't costing us anything. And this should put us in a much better position than what we're in before. But in saying that, the marine pure is an option, but there would definitely be a cost attached to filling these up with marine pure, because marine pure is a much better media, but once again, it's not cheap. But it is good, so it depends what you want to spend. Now, because these canister filters are under a lot of pressure because they're underneath the house, which is way under the tank, sealing these is certainly challenging. So what I've done is I've used some matting and some cable ties to create more pressure. So when I push those handles down, the handles are on much tighter, and it does seem to be working. The leaking seems to have stopped. The filters appear to be running, so we're okay for another day. When you're doing water changes, it's really important that your pumps get turned off if it's going to be out of order. Same with your heaters. So if you've got a centralized spot to turn it all off in one go, that's absolutely the best, because running heaters or pumps out of the water does blow them up, which isn't as fun as you think. In your fish tank, you ever notice the sand going dark like that instead of being the nice light color? Be careful, because that color is hydrogen sulfide, and hydrogen sulfide is poisonous. So it's better to thin out your sand and clean it more regularly, otherwise you can be in trouble.